Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Naru's Corner. And this week we are gonna take a look at creating some randomized passwords and answers to some riddles that you might have in your games, because as we all know, it is really a lot of fun creating some adventures in your games where a player needs to solve something to get further to the map, but once he like solves it one time, that's it, right? If I had set the password to just 4 tiles here, if let's say it was just the wave, the circle, the hill, and the feather, the first time he would figure out that somewhere in the compound is hidden this password, he would already know, and he wouldn't need to search for it again and again if he was replaying it, right? And we don't want that, because we would like the players to replay our mini games and games and whatnot. So it's always nice to randomize these things as much as you can, just to motivate people to replay your games and enjoy them perhaps after some time again. So that's what we are gonna do today. If I show you, I've prepared some dough with the keypad, and if I press some 4 random buttons, it will just return because the password wasn't correct. But somewhere in like 4 other rooms could be these four hints marked with these numbers. We can see there is a lion, the wave, the hands, or whatever that is, and the 2 feathers. So if I go here, I just press lion. That was a wave. What was that? Yeah, the hands and 2 feathers. You can see it opened. This is disabled now because you already solved it. And if I quickly restart the game again, hopefully it will work. The password should be always random and randomly selected from these. And you can see that these are indeed different. Now it's just feather, circle, 2 feathers. And the point is that it should be set to unpickable. I just forgot about that. I was really trying to put it together quickly. And I see there was a different password, and here. So this way, each time someone plays it, you are sure that it's going to be some different password, so they always have to put in the effort to find out what the password is. And I think that's a really nice touch for games. So yeah, that's what we're going to take a look at. And I promise, well, I promise myself that I am going to try to set these videos at like 20 minutes, and I know I've been saying it before, but I would really like to at least come close to the time, because it's just unbearable even for me, the 1 hour videos, and I'm sure it's very hard to watch for you as well. So anyways, let's dive straight into that. Okay, so what I've prepared here, the first thing, the keypad itself. You can use whatever blocks you like. You can use the stone numbers here, and or just, I think that's sandstone blocks. If we check, nope. I think there were some tablets, and I really like those. Yeah, here. I like these sandstone tablets, and I think they would make for pretty great password thingies. You could lay them down, probably like on the ground, if we just rotate them like so. And you could have them like some stepping stones with trigger zones over them, and once the player steps on it, it just moves slightly down, and that would push the password, and they would need to step on 4 of those in the right order. So, to open the door, of course, you can have like 50 characters in the password or whatever. So that would be interesting. And I really like this idea, and I'm regretting that I didn't go with the stepping way, because that would be super cool. So I really hope someone interprets that in their game. Okay, so you prepare some keypad, and that is really simple. I just have it grouped, and I've just placed 9 of these hieroglyphic blocks in a grid, and basically didn't do anything except setting them as animated, because I really like the effect of pushing them back instead of them just uh, just setting their position with an offset. And I don't like these snappy movements in the game, because it adds something realistic to it, right? If you push it, and you can add some sound effect with stone against stone moving. That's really nice thingy to do. Also, I have used a custom interaction, as you can see, set it as press, and of course these are all just up to you, but and one thing I've done, and that is important for this example to work, is that I have renamed them, because they are by default all named just sandstone block, I think, or hieroglyphic block, and that wouldn't work with the approach that I have taken. But you could probably leave that and just add entity storage to each of them, and each one of them would have some value, or you could use their IDs in the array of the label. Sorry. So yeah, I have renamed them. I've put a name to each and every one of them different. There is a triangle, somewhat of triangle, feather, hands. I'm still not sure if it's like a bottle with a pickle in front of it, or hands. No, never mind. It's not important. Okay, so that's what we have here. We have a label. I'm gonna rename it to buttons, and we are gonna need a second label, which is gonna check all the pressed buttons, because we need to keep track of the buttons that are already pressed, so we can push them back outwards once the password isn't correct, right? So that's what the second label is going to be about. And we are of course going to need an event listener, which is going to listen to player interaction with entity, any player labeled entities, and the label we're going to use is the buttons, and you set it for custom interaction. Okay. Then this custom HUD is useless. I was just thinking of doing some check, but yeah. Next thing you're gonna need is these numbers with some tablets for placing the answers. And of course this is again 100% up to you. You can scatter it around the map, right? You could have it somewhere in the ceiling. You could even hide it behind some fake walls. Just part of another puzzle that you solve for separate small puzzles, like answering some basic math questions. Maybe there will be a pop-up window with how much is 2 plus 3, and once the player answers correctly, there will be appearing one of the answers that they need for entering the room. So you create 4 reference points here, and these are the reference points that we are going to spawn our answers on. Okay, and I've grouped them under a game logic label. And this is important. You need to put them into the label in a correct order. So it means you have to select this one, this one, this one, this one. 1, 2, 3. Well, that was very creepy. Just my camera crashed down, and it really scared me. Anyways, yeah, you need to set them in the correct order, because we are gonna assign them with the ID they have in the array from 0 to 3. So if you didn't put them in the correct order, the numbers above them wouldn't match. Of course, that you could be spawning the numbers as well with the the tablets that in that case it would always differ in which room is what character, right? And it means that one in a room 1 could in one game be actually 1, or there could be a third block of the answer. So you can vary that as well. But I've went with this approach. It will save us some time. So yeah. Anyways, let's jump into the event listener. And as you can see, I've made quite a mess here because I've already had set it up. So I'm thinking we should create a new one, shouldn't we? Yeah, that would be problem. Better, just so I can go step by step with you. So I'm gonna set it again. Any player labeled entities. We are gonna need buttons and a custom interaction, right? So we have a clear event listener. We are gonna drag game start because this is where we set the password and our custom interaction. Okay, we are gonna start by creating custom instruction, and we are gonna need few variables. We are gonna of course need the answer text. We are gonna need the password, and we are gonna need an answer length, and this is gonna be just to check how many of the buttons are pressed. You could use the length of the number of the labeled entities under the pressed. That would be maybe smarter. Yeah, you know what? No, I'm still gonna go with answer length. I like that one. Length. Okay, I don't. Cool. So you could use the length of the number of the entities under there, but let's just go with this one for now. Okay. So we already know that at the start we have to set both of these. No, sorry, both of password. Yeah, password and answer. We are gonna say that they are an empty string, right? So we are gonna start by creating a set password function. This is where we generate our password, and we know that we are gonna call it here, and we can create a length variable just so we can later change it if we need, like creating longer or shorter passwords. I'm gonna say, let's say 4, because we already have set 4 of those answer tablets. And what we're gonna do here is that we are gonna need some local variable, and we are gonna need some loop, and we are gonna count with, this is gonna be our counter, and we are gonna go from 0 to get, no, just length, right? Sorry, I'm confused today. Okay, so what this will do, it is gonna go through every single through all the numbers till the length, and this is count width is how is it called, the half closed interval where the top number isn't included. So if our length is 4, it's only gonna include 0, 1, 2, 3. The 4 is not gonna be included. So it's still gonna have 4 of those, but from 0, right? So this is exactly what we need, and we know that we have to spawn at some point those tablets, right? So we are gonna say here, we're gonna find this spawn entity type and position rotation. We are gonna use this in a moment. And the reason I chose this plugging thingy is because I want to set pickable, because this is what I've screwed up before, right? As you could see that the answers were still pickable, so true, false. Once we spawn the entity, the answer one, we are gonna disable this its interaction for picking. And of course that we are gonna still need the type of the entity we are spawning. So we are gonna use this local variable, which is gonna be always one of those we pick. And we one important thing in this password, we can't have repeating characters, right? Because you can't press the button twice, because once you press it down, it's already pressed. There's no second pressing. You could be always raising the last one, so you could have repeating characters like after you skip one, but that wouldn't work for this example. I don't want it. It's an option. Okay, so we are gonna clone array because you don't want to mess with the array that you already have those labels. You want to keep it because you're gonna use it later. So you always want to create a clone of that array, which you can use. So we are gonna say that at the start we are gonna clone an array. We are gonna look for entities in a label, and it's gonna be this buttons label. This we just created a copy of those buttons of that entity label. So this includes all of them, but we can manipulate with this. We can delete from there, and it's not gonna affect the original array, right? Okay, so at each step we are gonna say that we are gonna take a random item from this buttons array. This is going to be one selected button, and we are gonna get the type of this button, and once we get the type, we are gonna spawn the type at the position that we need, and that is by get array. Again, no, sorry, not entities, but logic objects, I think. No, I can't type here today. Logic objects, there's a difference. Logic objects from game logic label, you're gonna select this game logic label, and you need an index, right? And when we're selecting first one, we can use the counter here because the first one will be 0, which is our first button. So all we need to do is get position, and we know that under there we have reference points, so we need to use game logic get position, and get rotation as well because we might have it rotated differently. So we're just going to use this same exact thing, and right away we already have set up the generating of the password. Of course, we still have no actual password saved, but right now it would generate those forced symbols. It wouldn't know, what to do with them. We just have the buttons, but that's okay. That's a start. So what we're gonna do now, the way we are gonna save the password is just gonna be a string. So you can see we've set up the string here to the password as an empty string. So we are gonna say that if our password, where do we have the password? If the password equals an empty string, and this is just to avoid some some zeros at the beginning if we didn't check it. So if the password is an empty string, we are gonna say set password to get name of this button, and that means that if the password is empty, the first that is the first step with this is gonna go through. It's gonna look, we have an empty password, and the first button is bird, so it is gonna get name bird. Right now our password is just bird, but then we go to the second step with counter 1, and the random item will be a lion. So it is gonna check. It's gonna check that it is not equal an empty string because it's already a bird. So we are gonna say that string is equal to our password plus this new name, and this is gonna stack all of the answers one after another, and the result will just be a long string with the the names in the correct order, and that is how you need to actually press that afterwards. We are gonna create that function in a minute. So okay, and after we get the names, we need to remove this button from an array because, as I've told you, we don't want them to repeat, right? So remove from array buttons and button. It's random. Okay, so this is gonna remove the bird at the first step, and we make sure that it can't pick it in the second step as well. Okay, I think this should be it actually. So this is the whole set password function. It's a little bit longer. Oh jeez, that's long. Okay, so we can jump straight to on custom interaction, and I already know I'm not gonna fit in those 20 minutes. I always talk way too much. Okay, on custom interaction. So what we know, we are gonna want to move the button, right? To to show the player that he's already pressed it. So move. We need with time, I think, because it's better to control. Target entity, we set it as animated, so we can do this, and we are gonna transform its position for minus 0.05 or minus 1. Now let's say minus 0.1. This is gonna no 0. I like 0.5. I don't remember what I did before, so let's say 0.6. And time in half a second, and we're gonna set smoothing to 1 just to get a smooth beginning and end of the transition. The entity is again gonna be target entity. This just means that it's gonna move it by 0.06 on the z-axis, and after we moved it, we want to disable interactions on this button because we don't want the player to keep pressing it. Move it. We want to attach a label because we need to, as I've told you, keep track of which entities are pressed to return them back if the password isn't correct. So we are going to select this pressed, and of course that we need now start creating the answer text, and that is going to be the same system as we've used here. So I'm just going to copy this if, delete these bad boys. Oh yeah, I'm actually gonna end up deleting most of it because we need to set answer instead of the password. So set answer, if the answer is an empty string, we are gonna set it to get the name of the target entity, and else we are gonna set answer to target and damn it to answer plus the name, and it is the exact copy of that, just with an answer, right? So you're gonna push it, and also remember that we have this counter, this answer length. So we are gonna set this to, it's gonna be a number, and it's gonna be the answer length plus 1, right? Okay, so this is gonna keep increasing, and this is how we can check that if this answer length is equal 4, because 4 is the length of our password. So if it's equal to 4, it is gonna check whether the answer equals the password that we have created, right? Because these are just two strings at this point, and it's really easy to compare strings, so we can do just this. Of course, we're gonna need some else. So if this answer equals password is correct, that means we have pressed the correct buttons. We are gonna go ahead and open the door. So open entity, sandstone door, and further we want to go through each of the buttons that we have on the keypad, and we want to disable interactions, right? Because at that point there's no reason to keep player pressing the buttons and annoy him with interactions. So we're just gonna go through all of those buttons and disable interactions. And at this point, the player has won and he can move on. But if he doesn't get it, if he messed something up, or if he just was pressing random buttons, we need to reset this. So we are gonna put in some delay, because since we are not using the snappy movements and we are using move, we are gonna wait 0.6 seconds to, you know, give it time to the last button has to travel to the end of the path, and then we can move all of those back. We can of course do it differently, like say that the last one is not gonna move at all or something, but I think this is the right way to go. I'm just gonna put 7. He's gonna wait, right? So now we can check for each item in, and now this time it's gonna be a different array, because it's gonna be entities from this pressed label, and these are all the buttons that he pressed, sadly incorrectly. So we are gonna tell them to move again, and we're just gonna change the direction to 0.06, and it's gonna move them back. And let's say that we are gonna put in another delay. I don't know, 0.5. Yeah, you have to wait once you've messed up, because you know, I like to place in some sounds, you know, failing chains or something. If you leave the map without the sounds, it just loses something. So this gives you the time to, you know, sort everything plus add sounds. So after the delay, we are gonna say interaction, yes, set custom interaction, because, you know, we are turning off the interaction here, right, for the pressed button. So we are gonna say that for each of these item, this is not for target entity at this point, this is for this item, which is the button, and I'm gonna rename it just so you know, button pressed. So for each button pressed, we are gonna say again press interaction, and now we just have to reset our answer to an empty string and our answer length to 0, right? So answer length will be 0. It's just resetting it to some default state so he can try again. Set answer to empty string. So I am sure that I forgot about something, but right now I can't see it. I hope you can follow along nicely. So if the answer is equal 4, we are gonna go, and if answer is correct, we open the door, we disable for all the interactions. If it's not correct, after some delay, we return all of them to their place, and yeah, this should work. I'm still wondering if I forgot something. Let's just try this out, and we're gonna see how much I have messed up. I'm gonna delete the original event listener. We have this new one, and let's test it out. So here we are. Let's test it. I'm just gonna press some random buttons, and I have set way too much on the Z-axis. But yeah, it returns back. This is just, you know, about lowering the number, but you know, I see some. Oh right, because I didn't clear the array, so now it just keeps adding them and not removing the buttons. So you see, after adding the pressed this button to the pressed buttons, I didn't remove it from there after returning them back, so it stays there forever. And now if press something, it just goes back. But so we have to fix that, but we can check. There is hands, double feather, and hands, double feather, and this play button, and it works, and it disabled the interactions, and this is not interactable, so everything works except this little thingy. So let's jump back into the editor. Alright, so one last little tweak is gonna be that here, for each button pressed, blah blah blah, once we return it, we are gonna go to, what do we need? we need to remove the label. Let's just say that we are gonna see here for each button pressed. So button and remove label pressed. Right, so here we go through all the pressed buttons. We are gonna move them back and remove the label. I'm just gonna move it here, so just to make sure that it's already removed. We can move the button to yes and yes. Okay, so we are clearing the array, and that should work. Okay, so one last time, you set it up here with count with, and you are spawning the correct answer. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I hope you could follow along nicely. We're just gonna jump back and try this clearing in a second. One last thing, you know, since this is about customizing your passwords and stuff, if you are going to set up if you're going to set up some, you know, password in a way that you have some simple math problems or something, don't use the, you know, never use just some set of numbers. Like if you straight up say 5 minus 3 and they are supposed to answer, you can always generate a new password through system like this, where you have these custom answers. And I haven't used this ask player in a very long time, so I have no idea. Set question, great. So you would use set question on this ask player. You can use this maybe, since I'm setting it in itself. On game start, set this to, and here we are just gonna compose a string, and we are gonna create a new variable which is gonna be correct answer, and we're gonna need set correct answer, and you can just say that you are gonna create, let's see, 2 random numbers, num1. I'm sorry, this is completely something else that we have been doing till now, but you know, it's just related to this. So, and we are gonna say random min max from, I don't know, from 1 to 20. It's gonna be the same, and correct answer is gonna be num1 plus num2. And of course that you can use some if statements with random numbers or something. You know, you could use if this random from 1 to 100 is greater than 50, it would give you 50% chance it's gonna go this way, or else right, like this. And you can see that it's gonna, if this is greater than 50, then it's gonna be plus. If it's not, it's gonna be minus. And you just say here how much is, and we're gonna need more of these, how much is num1, and of course we need 2 of those because they are gonna be different you know, thingies. So now it's gonna be plus, oh no, my keyboard gets sticky, minus and num2. So how much is num1 plus num2, and how much is num1 minus num2? We already have the correct answer set here. And here on answered, you are just gonna check if the answer text, and remember that return text is always a string, so you are gonna use this to_number answer text is equal to correct answer. This is gonna create a number. If it's equal to correct number, we are gonna display a debug write to console, and this text will be you're correct, and else you are gonna write a nope, it is, and here you're just gonna say the correct answer, right? And if you wanted, you can generate a new password each time the player tries, so you know he can't keep trying on the same thing. You would just create an instruction from this new new password, no, new answer, yeah, new answer, and you would just move all of these here, and on game start you are gonna call new answer, and after this, if the answer is wrong, you're just gonna set a new answer, and this should create a new answer every time. I'm just gonna quickly place in a lever. Oh no, I was doing so well with the short video and I just keep, you know, making it worse. I'm sorry, you know, I hope this is gonna help with something. And show ask player, and it's gonna be this. Questioner is gonna be this bad boy Egyptian man, and player will be a trigger entity. So once we press this, I don't know why wouldn't I use, you know, ask this boy? That's okay. So it's just gonna be on a lever. Okay, I don't want to change it. So new answer text, and you can generate like so, always a different. You can say you can use you know, like division or multiplication or anything based on, you know, for whom you're targeting this. So we're gonna test the game. Everything should be repaired, and this was just a quick example of how to customize the answers, you know, of these texts. So if I press random buttons, they return. If I press different random buttons, they return, and everything works fine. That is what triangle, hands, bird, and a wave. Triangles, hands, bird, and wave. It's open, so it works. And we're gonna check here how much is, if I minus 10, no, sorry, I'm gonna type something wrong, and it should, yes, nope, it's minus 10, see? And if I try it again, you can see that it changed because I messed the first one up. So I'm gonna say 13, and this time it is correct. You are correct, as you can see in the chat. So this time it's gonna stay the same because I didn't customize it for this, you know, scenario in the if statement. And yeah, this is how you can customize these and make some fun games with it, where the player is pressured to type in the correct answer as soon as possible before someone else figures something out, you know. So yeah, I think this is gonna be it for this episode. I hope this, you know, gave you something to use in your games. And if again, if you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to go to our forums and ask me, and I'll try to, you know, help you. One thing, I will be uploading this to the post on the forums that is related to this video, and I will go back to all my videos and upload those maps as well, because I have promised them multiple times but forgot as soon as I turn up the recording that I should actually upload them. So my apologies for that, and I will upload them in the following week or so as I get to it. And I will link these forum posts in the description of the video, so you can just click that and check it out. Okay, this is all. So see you in like 14 days, guys. Bye.